I have to go into a very important negotiation next week. And ultimately, the people that I'll be talking to have the power to make the yes or no decision.
Well, you are in deep trouble.
And I'm trying...
Think about how you're setting yourself up.
Oh.
It matters, and I can't control it.
Well, I'm hoping that one who's...
Don't go.
Well, we say that one that's connected to the source is more powerful than
Yeah, but you
millions who
can't.
might
You're
not
not
be.
connected to the source when you say it's important and I can't control it. In other words, the things that you say and what you mean when you say that
Right.
keep you from being there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
So just don't go.
I wish
No,
I
we're
had...
not kidding.
Yeah,
Don't-
I know. I know, that's what's scary.
Oh. So I want to be a vibrational match to the solution that I'm seeking.
Yes.
So can you do that and focus on it? In other words, if you've been listening to us for a while,
Yes.
have you heard us say that the contrast causes you to put things in the vortex, and that once it's in the vortex, that source is on it, and then your work is to become a vibrational match to it?
Yes.
And so, can you have you understood from the previous conversations that we have all had together that when you're in the asking mode and when you are in the receiving mode, they are different vibrational frequencies?
Yes.
That the question and the answer, or the problem and the solution, have different frequencies. Do you believe that you have lived sufficiently to ask sufficiently? Do you think that
Yes.
you are clear about what you're asking for?
Yes.
And do you accept that what you have asked for has already come to be in terms of vibration? In other words, there is a vibrational reality. The solution, while the problem was growing, the solution was too. Do you believe that the solution exists?
Yes.
So, from what you've heard just today, what's the fastest way for you to be a match to the solution? Or, we're going to say it even in more blunt, stark terms, how can you not be a mismatch to it?
To be in appreciation, a state of appreciation or happiness?
Well,
or...
but yeah, for sure. But but isn't that conditional? And
Oh.
isn't it conditional in a way that you can't accomplish right now because you're afraid?
Okay.
So, do you accept that the solution has already come about? So
Yes, it's evolving.
And do you believe that the way to bring myself into further vibrational alignment with my solution is to poke at the problem more?
No,
of course not.
no.
So at this point, what is your work? You've already experienced the contrast. You've already created the solution. So what's the path of least resistance to the solution? Be unconditional about it. Get it off your mind. Stop beating the drum of it. Accept that the work is done. You just got to get in the place of allowing it to be the way you want it to be. Mm-hmm. And you can't allow it to be while you're beating the drum of the problem. You can't allow it to be. You can't. You see what we're getting at? When we said don't go, we know that under these conditions that you feel that you have to at least take that action. But what about the non-action that you can accomplish in the time that's leading up to it? In other words, so we're just going to ask a series of questions, and you all know the answers to them, but we're going to really blatantly, pointedly put them in a format that you just can't miss them. So, are you more likely to align with what you want by stressing or chilling?
Chilling.
Are you going to make it better by going over it again one more time in your mind? Are you going to make yourself the recipient of the solution you want by pushing harder against the problem? Are you going to get there? Is your best line of action defensiveness or love?
Love.
Can you find love in egregious situations? Or do you have to ignore them? Do you have to get general? Do you have to be unconditional? You see, we're not asking you to find love about this. We're just asking you to find love. And if it requires not thinking about this, then that's the work. Oh.
So not prepare for the discussion, whether it's trying to acknowledge the other side's
Don't you think you're already prepared? Don't you think you've already lived it? Don't you think you've already put it in the vortex? Do you think that one more minute of conversation about it is... And the question is, prepare in what way? To prepare to defend yourself, or prepare to allow yourself the inspired conversation? Do you know that you can say really wise, brilliant things to the wrong people at the wrong time and get nowhere?
Yes.
Timing is everything. So, and the thing about preparing, here's a really good example of this. That's like, so Esther drove from Del Mar to Long Beach yesterday. So imagine if her preparation was to send scouts out to determine the moment-by-moment traffic flow every mile along the way. I'm going to be at La Paz at 11:14. I'm going to merge onto the 405 at... Isn't that just ridiculous to think that... So as you're going on a journey, do you prepare yourself for the traffic that you might rendezvous with there? Oh, there's going to be a crazy guy in a white, what is it? It's a white, it's an SUV. What is it? The license plate is 427. He's going to be, is he drunk? You cannot prepare for all eventualities. And in your belief that that is your work, you shut down your fluid, inspired brilliance. You've created your solution. Now you have to let yourself live it. And the way to let yourself live it is by believing that it's there and tuning yourself to the solution. And you don't tune yourself to the solution by worrying about the problem.
But are you, it's about the people. Obviously, it's going to be people on the phone, and they have a position, and we were hoping to help them to understand it in a different situation.
Oh, yeah. That'll go over well.
Okay.
Because they're off preparing too. But has anybody taken the time to prepare themselves for the inspiration of infinite intelligence? We think not. Has anyone taken the time to come into alignment with who you really are and what you really want? Or are you justifying why you should get the outcome that you think you should get by pointing out all of the failings of others? In other words, you cannot get there from there. You have to accept that while the problem has been growing, the solution has too. And now, at some point along this process, you've got to align with the solution. Right. There has never been a more important time for you to be unconditional than now. Because the condition is going to take you right back to all of that defensiveness. And while we know that the way you sort it out, it looks like when humans are fighting with each other and you are equal in your disallowance of the guidance from source, the biggest, meanest one is the likely one to prevail. But that's not the game you play in. You don't have it in you to be the biggest, meanest one. You are never going to win in a world that needs to be the biggest, meanest one. You don't have it in you. None of you do. Some of you feel more mean.